most important thing about this tour, don't get your head on that car. These guys.
Oh, buddy, I didn't know
In your own backyard. I don't think her mother knew about it at the time. But they would hook up right there, 10,800 feet. That's where the tram is located. No, we're not getting out yet. The tram takes you up 8,500 feet. Is the San Andreas Fault, which runs through these hills. And the Pacific Plate is sliding past the North American Plate about 1 to 2 inches a year. Okay, some years it doesn't slide, you'll see. And the San Andreas Fault is so big they break it up into 3 parts. Now the northern section, that's where you had the San Francisco Quake of 1906. They didn't have the Richter scale, but they think that was about a 7.8. 3,000 people died, some from buildings. Then up the Grapevine, and you're heading down in the Central Valley, that's where the Fort Tejon area is. Fort Tejon is where they had a quake in 1857. That was estimated to be a 7.9 where we're at. We haven't had a major quake since 1690. Each section averages a major quake every 140 to 200 years. So we are about 125 years past due. This is the San Jacinto Fault up here, and that fault is on the other side of those mountains. That's the most active fault line in California. Even though it's over there, that's considered to be part of the San Andreas Fault.
Like a ranch for
We're on our way to the Matate Ranch. Over here.
Indigo Flowers. Yeah, the only thing they use this for, those are all, let's say 90% of those were working.
California fan palms.
So this one in front of us is called the hula screen baskets. Everybody else was out gathering food. 80% of their food was plant-based. What the Indians down here hunted was pretty much anything that moved. Rabbits, quail, lizards, snakes, crickets, cicadas, anything. One thing they had an advantage though, it was like if one thing didn't work, they just went to something else. You know, when the Plains Indians lost the buffalo, they didn't know what to do. So we're gonna walk over here. Now, but under ideal conditions, a palm tree could live probably up to 150 years. The general consensus about this oasis is all these trees are under 100 years of age. Okay. We have a resident rattlesnake living down here named Andreas.
Oh.
And it's, we don't know actually. I mean, would you guys be
It's a
suspicious
rattlesnake track.
if before we did this walk, I was putting on barley, and they kind of taste like Honey Nut Cheerios.
Oh.
So they're nice and sweet. This plant was so important, like say this little grove right here, this would have belonged to one family. And, but being in a canyon is more defendable. And also the fact that they didn't build it down here. We're on the Matate Ranch. And the mono, that's what you grind it with. Now, 4 or 5 Indians probably would have lived in this one kish. So it's very cozy. They didn't actually have fires in here. Fire extinguishers, these guys were very advanced. So now, this mural is pretty accurate. The Cabazon band of Kuya Indians actually paid for this. Well, actually it was a Spanish person until 1823. Captain Jose Romero coming up here from Mexico, and this was Mexico then. Married Anglo or whatever, they got Spanish last names. So, but in the ideal village, you have three ponds. The top pond's the cleanest water. This was used for drinking and cooking. Then that used for industrial uses, whatever didn't really require clean water. That's when the government had to admit they never. Okay, so these, you know, the dirt and sand goes down across the freeway from Palm Springs. That is actually considered a fault. Fault is just a big crack. So. tell them your left hand is touching the Pacific Plate, your right hand's touching the North American Plate. Good night, Ed.
It's hard to get the view.
We're climbing through the center of the San Andreas Fault.
Hand of North American Plate, right hand of the Pacific Plate, and I'm in the middle of it all.